When did you stop mattering to yourself? Because somewhere between holding everything together for everyone else, you vanished. And nobody talks about that. I want you to really sit with something for a moment. When was the last time you did something just for you? Not for your kids. Not for your partner. Not for your boss or your colleagues or your parents or your friends. Not because it was on the to-do list or because someone needed something from you. Just for you. Just because you wanted to. Just because it made you feel good or alive or like yourself. Can you remember? Can you actually remember the last time that happened? Because if you are sitting there right now and you are struggling to come up with an answer, if you are scanning back through weeks or months or maybe even years and coming up empty, I want you to notice that. Really notice it. Because that feeling right there, that blankness when you try to locate yourself in your own life, that is one of the quietest and most devastating signs that something has gone very wrong. And it is more common than you know. There is this thing that happens to people, and it happens to smart people, strong people, capable people, people who would never describe themselves as victims, where over time they just stop existing for themselves. And I don't mean that dramatically. I mean it in the most ordinary, everyday way. You just gradually stop being a person with your own inner life and become instead a function. A role. The mother. The partner. The employee. The one who holds it all together. The one who manages. The one who copes. And somewhere in the process of becoming all of those things for everyone else, you stop being anything for yourself. You stop existing in your own story as the main character. You become a supporting role in everyone else's. And here is the insidious thing about how it happens. It is never one big moment. Nobody wakes up one day and decides to disappear. It happens in the smallest increments. Almost invisible in the moment. It starts with things so small you don't even register them as losses. You stop mentioning what you want because every time you do it creates friction and it is just easier not to. So you stop. You start going along with things, restaurants, plans, decisions, that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself, because the energy it takes to assert a preference just stopped feeling worth it. You stop making plans for yourself because they always seem to fall through anyway. Something always comes up. Someone always needs something. So you just stop planning. You stop expecting. You stop hoping for things just for yourself because hope started to feel dangerous, like setting yourself up for another disappointment. You stop wearing the things that make you feel beautiful because there are no occasions anymore, or because someone made a comment once that lodged itself somewhere and you never quite recovered from it. You stop going to the places that used to light you up. You stop doing the creative things, the writing, the designing, the making, that used to make you feel like you, because there is no time, there is no energy, and somewhere along the way you absorbed the message that those things were frivolous. Not practical. Not important. You stop saying the things you actually think because it always leads to conflict or dismissal or that look, you know, the one, that makes you feel stupid for having thought it in the first place. And so you go quiet. And then quieter. And then quieter still. And one day, it might be while you are standing in the shower, or driving alone, or catching your reflection in a shop window, or looking at a photograph of yourself from years ago, one day something stops you. And you look. Really look. And you think, who is that person? Where did I go? When did I become this? There is no dramatic music in that moment. There is no lightning bolt revelation. It is just this quiet, devastating recognition. Like finding a room in your own house that you had completely forgotten existed. And realizing it has been locked for a very long time. I had that moment. I know exactly what it feels like. It wasn't one single day for me either. It was a slow accumulation of 1,000 small disappearances that I barely noticed while they were happening because I was too busy surviving. Too busy managing. Too busy being everything to everyone around me while quietly starving the part of me that needed something back. I lost years. I lost dreams I had for myself that I stopped even being able to articulate because I had buried them so deep they barely felt real anymore. I lost my sense of humor, the real one, the quick, sharp, funny one I used to have. I lost my creativity. I lost my confidence, not the performed competent professional confidence, but the real deep inner confidence of a person who knows who they are and trusts themselves. I lost my voice. I lost my taste for things. I lost my ability to want things for myself without immediately hearing a voice that said, "Who do you think you are? You don't deserve that. That's not realistic. Nobody cares what you think." I didn't even realize how much I had lost until I started trying to find it again. And that process of trying to find it, that inventory of everything that was missing, that was one of the most painful things I have ever done. Because you cannot grieve something you haven't first admitted is gone. And I want to talk about that for a moment. About grief. Because I don't think we talk enough about the grief of losing yourself. We talk about grieving people. We talk about grieving relationships. But we don't talk nearly enough about grieving the person you were before. Grieving the version of yourself that had dreams and energy and a sense of possibility. Grieving the years you spent in survival mode instead of actually living. Grieving the things you didn't do, the risks you didn't take, the life you didn't build because you were too busy just trying to get through each day. That grief is real. It deserves to be honored. It is not self-pity. It is not weakness. It is the completely appropriate emotional response to a real loss. And if you have been carrying that grief without naming it, without even being allowed to name it, I want you to know that it is okay to put it down for a moment and just feel it. Just let it be what it is. Because on the other side of that grief, on the other side of really looking at what happened and saying, yes, I lost myself, and yes, that matters, and yes, I am allowed to be sad about it, on the other side of that is something really important. It is the beginning of wanting yourself back. And wanting yourself back is where everything starts. So what does it actually look like to start finding your way back? Because I don't want this to just be a video about how we disappear. I want it to be about how we return. And I will tell you this, it does not look like a dramatic transformation. It does not look like a sudden awakening where everything becomes clear and you emerge fully formed and healed and radiant. It looks much smaller than that. It looks like one tiny act of choosing yourself in a day full of choosing everyone else. It looks like ordering what you actually want instead of what is easiest. It looks like saying no to something, anything, that you only said yes to out of habit or guilt. It looks like doing one small creative thing just because it makes you feel good. Writing a paragraph. Rearranging a corner of your home to make it beautiful. Putting on a song you love and actually listening to it instead of having it as background noise. It looks like sitting outside in the sun, just sitting, just being, not productive, not useful, just present in your own body in a moment that is just for you. It looks like asking yourself, what do I actually want right now? And then actually listening for the answer. Even if the answer is small. Even if the answer is quiet. Even if you have to ask the question 100 times before you start to hear anything back. You ask it anyway. Because every time you ask it, you are sending a message to the part of you that disappeared. You are saying, I know you are in there. I haven't forgotten about you. I am coming to find you. That is what this channel is about. That is the whole mission in a nutshell. Not a 10-step program. Not a formula. Not a shortcut. Just an honest ongoing conversation about what it looks like to find your way back to yourself after you have been lost. What actually helps? What doesn't? What the journey really looks like from the inside. I am not going to pretend I have arrived. I am on this road right now, same as you. But I have learned some things. I have found some tools. I have had some breakthroughs. And I am going to share all of it, honestly, openly, without the gloss, because that is what I needed and couldn't find when I was at my lowest. And I refuse to believe I am the only one who needed it. If any of this landed, if you felt yourself somewhere in these words, please subscribe. Leave me a comment and tell me, when was the last time you did something just for you? I want to know. I want to hear your story. And share this with someone who has forgotten who they are. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do for someone we love is show them that they are not alone in feeling lost. That there is a way back. And that someone out there gets it. I will see you in the next one.